So, sieht's besser aus, ne? Kleine Geschichte.
Also, willkommen, Poul.
Thank you, Frederick, that you invited me to take part in this project. It sounds very interesting, and I think you're a very good interviewer, actually. I was thinking about that yesterday when we just had a talk. I'm a Danish artist, educated in the Danish Art Academy, finished in '84. And it's difficult to introduce yourself or introduce myself. I don't know. I've just been a very stubborn person and had then since then from my art, from my Kunst gelebt.
Poul is making an art series on Homebound and what that means and what that feels like.
For me.
Yeah. And so now home feels like something inside of you.
Yeah, I don't know if I got more clever doing this, but it was good for me, and it was it's a discussion, as I told you earlier, and it's a discussion with myself. My art is a discussion with myself, and of course I'm happy if other people like it. Of course, that's just when I bake a cake or cook a meal and serve it to people, and they say, "Ooh, it tastes good. The best, very good in cooking." Of course, I get happy, and I'm not trying, to hide that. Of course, I get happy, but when I'm doing my pieces or my things, I don't think about stuff like that. For it's just a communication with myself.
Do you think it would be harder to make it if you thought about stuff like that? Or?
I've tried. I've been living from my art, as I told you, in 40 years, and had family and a lot of people around me to fill their stomachs and pay the rents and pay the house and pay a car and everything, like everybody else. And of course, sometimes when it was really tough, I'm thinking, I have to do something that people like. And then I say, what do people like? Oh, they like so many things. Or maybe I make some cute animals. And then it ends up like this, this in the middle.
Yeah, cute animal. Or this flower.
Yeah, or I say, maybe I do. People, they love flowers. So I make some flowers, and then it ends up like this. I can't control it, It's because then I get absorbed in what I'm doing, and then I forget everything, and then I just do the stuff.
That's amazing.
How I find it has to be for me. And then people say, when I say, now I have flower paintings for you. And then they say, this? Flowers? Huh? I don't want that on my wall. And then it's, okay. Naked ladies then? No. I don't know, but still, I have been, I've lived,
Yeah.
I have lived, and I'm still alive. And I was also yesterday and also this morning had a wonderful breakfast. Yesterday, good meal. Today, wonderful breakfast.
Schön.
Yeah.
So good. And speaking of the home, you were telling me also about how in the past the home was part of a person's identity. This is shifting topics quite a bit, but
yeah, it's okay. Yeah,
I'm interested in hearing more about that. You mentioned the shift from now we have small homes, and instead of coming to eat and inviting friends over and showing off your books like we can do now and your art, you meet in a public place, or you advertise yourself in a sense on Instagram, on social media.
Yeah, yeah. Social media has taken over our identity, our description of ourselves. You know, when I invite you here, you look at this, you know, and say, oh, you get some kind of idea what kind of person I am. This is the old-fashioned way. You know, a lot of young people are living. They don't create a home in analog or physical. They create a home on the social media. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but that is my feeling. And you know, then you say, okay, yeah, and that makes people stressed because they are lying too much about themselves. They have to tell people they are a success, and you know. But you know, in my generation, it was exactly the same. Not on the social media, but you know, if you have guests that was not coming before. I remember, you know, when I got customers coming to my home, I had my studio. We had a big house, and I had my studio and a big garden, you know, and I had my studio in the garden there. And people, of course, customers came, you know, to buy my art pieces in my studio. And that was also my home. And my wife said, okay, I have to clean, I have to put some, I have to, and say, yeah, we put something there. You know, we created also something for these people who were visiting us. And everybody is doing that. You know, also when you should come here, I say, oh, I have to move this and that. I have to just, you know, so it don't look so messy or whatever. No?
Yeah, and Kaffee zu machen.
Yeah, we do that.
Yeah.
So we always did that. Now you are drinking the microphone. But I don't know if you can maybe tell me, because I don't know if that changed so much. It changed a level, you know, from the level of analog to digital, something like that. But you know, a lot of young people today, they get some diagnosis and they have stress, or they blah blah blah, you know, and they say, oh, it's because social media and because you have to look like a success all the time. I had that, you know, in the 40 years I've been living as an artist. Although I had maybe Schulden ohne Ende, huh? And I was totally broke, and I hadn't paid my house for half a year or whatever. You know, when I was by customers, you know, I looked and I said, everything is fine. It's very good. I'm very rich. I have a lot of stuff. Blah blah blah. No, you have to do that.
Yeah, I think that social media globalizes everything. So maybe in the past there were class, like within, if you lived in Berlin, you there were certain I guess classes of wealth. You know, some people could wear certain clothes, and some people could have certain homes, and you would have your identity that way. And that sounds stressful, and that people who couldn't afford certain things couldn't portray themselves a certain way. But I heard about, for instance, like people in Greenland, like in little villages, committing suicide because of social media, because they are seeing the lives that people so far away from them and so far away from their lives are living, and that is just so drastically different from one life to the next, I guess.
Maybe, yeah, you're maybe right.
I don't know. It's just one thought, and
but you know, you always had to pretend.
Yeah.
You know, when you have to live, you always pretend. You have to pretend. You always have to pretend that you're somebody else, because you know that you are rich or you're successful, or you always have to pretend, especially as an artist. Nobody loves you when you're down and out. You remember that from John Lennon, no? Nobody loves a loser.
But sometimes artists are making negative, depressive art, and people love that. So people can relate to that.
Yeah.
I think that today a lot of young people don't want to appear too wealthy, for instance, because it's not so cool. Especially if your money is from your parents or something like that. Like if you are okay with living in a small place and getting by and making art, for instance, that's much cooler than living in a big house. So it's different, but it's,
of course. And then you see here in Berlin a lot of young people are coming here, and living some kind of trashy life, but in designer clothes.
Yeah. Designer trashy, designed to look kind of.
Yeah, design trashy. Yeah. I don't know. I think we always pretended, and the rich people want to pretend they are poor. The poor people want to pretend they are rich, and we are. Who was it? Wasn't it? Who made this? I am the great pretender. There's also an old song.
I am the great pretender.
I am the great pretender.
Yeah, maybe they're. I don't remember, but maybe they're from Seattle. Maybe that's like Nirvana or somebody.
Yeah, when you're from a small town, you have to pretend you're from a big town, huh? And when you're from a big town, you have to pretend you're from a small town. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's about identity, When you're old, you have to pretend you're young. When you are young, one of my grandchildren, he just got 18. My youngest, not youngest now, because now I got this small one, but he was until that the youngest, 18. And when you look at his Facebook profile, he pretends he's 24. He has to pretend he's older, I think. He likes that. And when you're young, you want to get old, and when you're old, you want to pretend you're younger, no?
Yeah,
it's fun, huh?
My resume, I have a photo where I look businessy.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend's dad looked at it and he said, why do you look so old here? You want to look young. And I thought, okay, it doesn't matter. But he thought, he wants to look younger.
Yeah.
I would like to look older because maybe it looks like I have more experience.
More experience, more, everything. Huh?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
But my point is that it's not new. Huh?
Yeah.
I just talked to my oldest son. He just turned 50, so he's in this kind of. I remember when I was turning 50. It's not so many years ago, although 20 years. But the feelings we were talking about, all this, turning 50, and you get some kind of midlife crisis and stuff like that. We were talking a little about that. I don't think there's something. I think it was always like that. That's my point.
But I think that maybe it's a question of scale, because I think that, for instance, when we say that people in Germany have problems with making money or finding money, and then we talk about people in Africa having problems finding work, and both people would say we both deal with this. One group deals with it to a different extent, and it's hard to measure that with things that are hard to compare or measure, like something that's not just money. But
of course, this kind of capitalist society. Now I said the word. This is built on growth, and this is built on somebody are producing something. And they have to make you want it, because actually we don't need so much anymore. You as a person, what do you need? You need a bed that's warm. You need some food, and you need some sex.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you need. That's your need. That's the basic needs for a person. You know, if you don't have a bed where you can sleep and keep you warm, you'll get cold and you'll die. If you don't get something to eat and drink, you'll get hungry or thirsty, you'll die. Yeah, and if you don't have any sex, you will get depressed and die. But also, you know, you won't have any children.
Yeah.
Huh? That's actually why we love to have sex. Actually, huh? That is the drift in us, huh? And that is actually what you need as a person. The rest, you know, if you have some time, you know, not sleeping, not making food, as that has cooking, or first, you know, grow it, and then have sex. If you have some extra time, spare time, you can use it for having fun. But that is only fun. Then you can maybe say, oh, it would make me a little easier if I do this and this and that, you know. Then we have a bigger spoon, or I make a spoon that is more, you know. That is how life is.
Yeah. So you said you also are good, you at some point at least were good at selling your art, convincing people that they need it or want it.
That's a part of it, but that is also for everything else. And if you sit, as you said, you know, in Greenland, live in a small, and see, that's exactly what happened with East Berlin and West Berlin. This propaganda, and a lot of East Berliners, they thought, you know, when they just could have capitalism like they had in West Berlin, then they also will have big Mercedes, they will have, you know, big this and that, and you know, and they were very, very encouraged. And you still see this when you meet East Berliners, you know, sometimes they are really encouraged, cheated.
Okay.
Yeah, they feel cheated.
Yeah.
And this guy, you know, living in some kind of small village in Greenland, and also some of these people coming, although when they come, you know, from Africa, they come here, they get some money, and that they didn't have, of course, but still they have to. You can't get rich. You can't get rich, because the rich are rich, and you can't be the rich. The rich are rich, and you can just try. You can't get rich on working. You can work as hard as you want. You can never get rich.
What do you mean by that?
You can't get rich by working. Nobody ever got rich by working.
You mean like monetarily rich or happiness rich?
Yeah, happiness rich, that you can get, of course, you know, that is something else, but you can never get money rich by working. Nobody ever did that.
Because you think that people get rich by investing and
cheating.
Cheating, okay.
Yeah, you get rich in that way that you buy something cheaper than it's worth, and you sell it more expensive than it's worth. And this difference, you have to make this difference as big as possible. So cheat the one you buy it from and the one you sell it as much as you can. Then you get rich.
Yeah. Or in extreme cases, or maybe not extreme cases, create something that didn't exist before.
You know, but art, you know, it's very few people who get rich doing art, because it don't have any value. Art don't have any value. That's it's only the value from an art piece is, as one friend to me said once, it is pure poetry until it's sold. But it's also, you know, the market who decide now this artist or this art piece, they, you know, deal between each other on the top of the market. No? They deal between each other, sell it to buy it and sell it from each other to higher the value. It's all like that, you know. So you, as a normal artist, if you say, "Oh, I make good paintings. I want to make beautiful, good paintings," you know, you don't get rich from that.
So I also wanted to ask you about the identity of people who buy art. I think a lot of people listening maybe at least from my understanding, people I know don't necessarily buy art in the way that buying paintings and so on. What are the reasons why people buy art, and what kind of people are they?
That is a difficult question, because I think, or sometimes I have the feeling that maybe it's changing. More and more people, they like to do it themselves. They like to create their own stuff on the walls, and then of course I should, as an artist, say that is a bad thing, but actually I find it's a very good thing. Because when you create something, when you do something with your hand and your heart and your mind, you get very happy. And I think it's very important that people get more happy. It's very important. In times where everybody or a lot of people are getting more anxious and more tired of everything and themselves and their life, and and they think they should buy something to make them happy, it's really great that people do something themselves that make them happy. And if it is, to make a collage, or to make a painting or drawing or a sculpture or whatever, I think it's a very good thing. I love it. But and everybody who wants, they can look at my stuff and say, oh, it inspires me, I want to do something like that. I have a story I'll tell you.
Yeah, please.
I had an exhibition, and a woman contacted me and said, it was half a year after the exhibition. She said, oh, there was one painting, she couldn't get it out of her mind. She wanted to buy it. And I say, okay, you can buy it. What is the price? She said. We were writing, she sent me a mail because she was living in Denmark, I'm living here. We didn't met, And she said, she wrote me, what is the price for this painting? Do you still have it? And what is the price? I said, I still have it. The price is so and so. And then a couple of days later, I got a mail from her. Yeah, she still, couldn't get her out of her head, but it was too expensive for her. So she wrote me, I'll try to make it myself. And then, of course, I was thinking, what? And nobody ever said that to me. And it made me thinking, and I wrote back to her, dear, I don't remember her name, but dear, blah, blah, I'm very happy to hear that. And I will help you as much as I can to get success. But if you succeed in that, I want to hire you to work for me.
Yeah, amazing.
Because I can't even do it myself, This painting, I can't copy it. How should I copy it? I can't do it. But so I said, good luck, and I wish you a really, really success, and if show me the result, and if it's very good, I'll hire you. You can work for me. But I never heard from her.
Oh, wow.
But people who are buying art, because she was then one who wanted to make it herself. But it started a whole new way for me to look at what I was doing. So she helped me a lot. I was very thankful for that. And I started also to invite people to do my art. Also, this one hanging there, this is also a sketch for a performance I made in my studio. 5 naked ladies were doing my art pieces.
Could you use someone to?
Yeah, I had 5 naked ladies. They were running around, and I made a video also, and I have a video of that. It's on my website. of
Great.
the whole session.
And what was that about? They were making art.
They were making my art pieces
Wow.
for this magazine, this Weile magazine I just showed you. Yeah. So.
Why would you want your art to be remade?
Huh?
Why would you want your art to be remade?
Yeah,
I
to be
understand,
made.
that-
They just made, they had this kind of different remedies, and then they could just do whatever they liked.
Okay. Why would you want to hire this woman?
Because it's interesting, to that other people are doing it instead of myself,
Like
and they had a lot of fun.
yeah.
They were very happy running
Sure.
around naked between each other.
Nice.
They different ages from young to old, and they really had a good time. And I was playing music when they were working. I was playing music for them, and we really had a wonderful time.
Great. What about the other woman? Why would you want someone to repeat your art?
Yeah, but if she could do it,
Yeah. But why is that?
that's amazing.
Why?
That's then I didn't have to do it myself.
Oh, but to remake it. But you don't remake your art.
No, I could never remake. How could you do that?
But why would you want to? You want to
Just
sell
to
it
see
twice?
just to see if it was possible. And if she could do it as good as me,
Yeah.
then of course it would be perfect.
There's a cafe in Schöneberg, near
Yeah.
Schöneberg,
Yeah.
called Giro.
Huh?
And I like this one piece of art where there's like a nail coming out of the wall
Yeah,
in a light and the shadow of the nail.
yeah.
And then next to it is a painting of that
Yeah.
nail and shadow.
Yeah.
So
It's a great piece. Yeah.
yeah, somebody basically just remade something
Yeah.
in a different way.
Yeah.
Kind of similar, I guess.
But it's interesting, because you can, as an artist, sometimes you maybe can get, the feeling that you're superior. You can get a big ego and think, I'm superior, I'm genius. This idea of geniusity. I don't believe in that. That's a capitalist idea. Nobody is a genius. It's just a question of engaging in what you do. Huh?
Yeah.
Genius. That is just a description of something that don't exist. Just like perfect. That's the same. Perfect don't exist.
Uh-huh.
But that's another discussion. But to turn back to the question, why? What is an art customer? That is the same as when you buy a book, or there's something you can't get it out of your head. It just influences you in a way, and you want to have this discussion because you are not finished with what you saw, no? If you look at some kind of painting or work or artwork, you are not finished. When I go to the museums, I still go to see some pieces. I watch them every time because I'm still not finished with this feeling or these thoughts, or
I'm always disappointed if I would say watch a movie twice or read a book twice. Actually, I never read books twice, but I don't.
I read a lot of books twice,
Yeah.
twice, but you're also very young,
Yeah, I haven't had time. I
and I'm
guess.
very old. So, and I really love, some of the books I really, really love to read again, and read again, and I see something else. But of course now I'm reading German books. So then when I read it twice, I understand something else. Also because my German is a little better now. It's always changed a little.
Yeah. I read Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse
Yeah.
when I was 15 in English, and now I read it in German. And that was a great, different experience.
Yeah, it's
of
a
course.
beautiful experience.
Many years later and so on,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it was
yeah.
like a whole new thing now.
Yeah, also because, a big art piece grows with you. A good art piece grows with you. You can watch it or read it again and again, and because then you understand the world different, and then you also understand this piece different, because this is this dialogue you have with really great art. You live with that, and that, I think, some people buy art because of that.
Yeah. I think
That's very
you're getting at something that you talked about with me before, and that was that people understand themselves, and they relate to your art. Do you find there are any characteristics of people who buy your art that they sometimes are similar to you in some way, or is it just all over the place and hard to?
I don't know. I've sold many pieces. I had to live from that, so I sold many pieces, and I don't know if there is similarities between the people who bought my works, who buy them now. I don't know. It's just, I don't do much to sell actually anymore. So somebody just, this, I want this, I have to have this. I had a show in China, where I did these water sculptures, and some photos I make where I threw this bucket standing up there. I fill it with water and throw it somewhere, and then take a photo, or somebody take photos from this, and then of course very fast, so you see this water is frozen, or you know what I mean, because it's very fast shutter,
right.
So and then I hand color this water, and I call that water sculptures. I've been doing them all over the world, and they were so amazed, this museum there. We have to own this. I said okay, it's also possible. So the museum now owns that. And then I also thought, why, but you can't really. They can't explain what they see. And I usually just ask a little, and then I can have the feeling they don't really know. And then I say, okay, then I don't ask anymore, because they can discuss that with themselves.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of like sometimes on this podcast.
Yeah.
Asking people questions, and I understand. Yeah. They don't know this answer about themselves. So.
Yeah. So I think it's different, from person to person. Because when I start, when I was younger, I also sometimes ask people, "What do you see?" And they try to be nice, or they get out of this mode of communication with the painting. They have to explain to the artist, and don't offend me, or don't and try to please me, or whatever. So it's just often just some crap.
Yeah, maybe that's sort of the job of the artist to like, if someone could explain what they see in a piece of art, that's a sign that they are quite artistic, able to express themselves.
Yeah, I think so. So I don't really know.
Yeah.
And I don't really care.
Yeah.
I and some people buy art because they like it. They like this piece, and then they don't buy another piece, and they say it's often it's just people who don't have much money. Then there are people who have very much money. They think it's some kind of investment or something. And then, there are these people who where it is, they have a group of people who buy it from each other. I've tried sometimes to tell my rich customers, that's how you have to do it. You buy it from me cheap, and then you sell it expensive to your friend, who sell it back to you more expensive, and then that way you get, free money.
And
So
they go for that, and that works sometimes. Or
it works for some.
do you think they resold it for more? Do you know?
I don't have any, because they don't tell me, of course.
Yeah.
Well, if they said, they bought it from me for 5,000 euro and then they sold it for 50,000, then I, of course, would say, oh, maybe you give me a little of that advance.
Sure.
So they don't tell me, of course. Rich people are not stupid. That's why they are rich. I want to play you a song for you.
Please, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Und wir müssen Tschüss sagen. So that's it for our conversation with Poul. That was thank you so much. Vielen Dank.
Thank you very much. Vielen Dank, dass du mir diese interessante Gespräch, dass wir das gehabt. Ich wollte dir dann ein Stück spielen auf meine crazy phone.
Yeah.
I'll play a little music for you on my crazy phone. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why I put on my hat. It's good.
Ich bin gespannt.
Okay.
Ja. Tschüss. Bis dann.
Tschüss. Bis dann. Yeah. Thank you. Welcome. Beautiful instrument, huh?